Hello guys, and welcome to No Sevens Dice Club College Football Week 8 edition. We are beyond the halfway point. I'm getting pretty good at setting up this camera thing. It only took me 2 minutes to set up my camera today, so I think I'm finally getting the hang of it. No more 20-30 minutes to set up this camera. Alright, so let's dive right into it so that way we're not spending a long time doing this this video. So week 7, as you guys know, our bullies lost because Georgia got beat by South Carolina. Who would have thought that, guys? Who would have thought that South Carolina would have beat up one of our bullies? You know, the 90-pound weakling went in there and beat the snot out of the bully. So our bullies free money play ticket did not win out. But hey, look, you know, that's the reason why it's gambling, you know, and we you know, we do the best we can, and you know, sometimes this happens. But we did cover LSU. You remember I was telling you LSU was going to win by 10 points. They won by 14. And if you're like me, because LSU, everybody jumped on the bandwagon, LSU jumped up to, on Saturday morning, it was up 14, minus 14 for LSU. We had LSU at minus 12.5, so it did cover. Penn State won, and it covered. Penn State won 17-10. Penn State, we had minus 3.5, so they covered. Alabama won, and they covered. And LSU covered. We just talked about that. And Notre Dame won, but they did not cover. I don't understand why I had that in there. Let me look at that, because I did not put them on there. I had Alabama covered. I had Penn State covered. Oh, I did have USC and Notre Dame. I did have them. Notre Dame did not cover on that one. So, but my SEC parlay did win. I did Florida at LSU minus 12.5. I did LSU minus 12.5. That covered. I took Bama minus 16, and that covered. So that those individual tickets hit, and then the parlay of the SEC parlay covered too. So I won 2 times there, and then unfortunately Notre Dame lost on and did not cover. Even though they won the game, they did not cover. So the Penn State Notre Dame parlay did not win out, and my round robin did cover, even though it was not as much as it was. It was pretty much almost a break even for that week. So it was a little rough. We did not cover with the Notre Dame. Our dark horses. We took North Carolina minus 4.5. They did cover. And the Florida State, Clemson just destroyed Florida State. I kind of figured that was going to happen. I thought Florida State was at least going to hang with them for a little bit, but Clemson just kept it on the throttle and just blew the doors off of them. So they did not cover for that dark horse pick. So our 2 losses are Notre Dame and Florida State. So, all right, guys, moving into week 8. It's a pretty good lineup for us. It's not as hard and difficult as week 7 was. Also, I like to talk a little bit about week 7 as I don't know if you guys watched it or not, but the LSU game. It's exactly what happened, what I thought was going to happen. I knew the wide receivers for LSU was going to be too dominant at the end, and that Florida was not going to be able to cover all those first-round talented wide receivers, and they ended up taking away the game. But the game was won at the line of scrimmage, the defensive line versus LSU's offensive line, and LSU's offensive line held Florida's defensive line without a sack on Joe Burrow. And I'll tell you what, guys, Joe Burrow, he is definitely, in my book, the front runner for the Heisman. And that's going to come down to the Alabama LSU game coming November. That's going to be who's going to get, I think, the hardware at the end of the year. And we're going to go over that game closer when it gets into Once when once we get closer to that game, we'll break that one down and go from there. And I think that's it for week 7. All right, so let's get into week 8. I know that's what you guys are here for. We can care less about week 7. That's over and done with. That's in the past. So week 8. All right, our bullies. Here you guys go. You ready? Our bullies for this week is Ohio State, Clemson, LSU, Wisconsin, Texas, Alabama, Georgia. I know what you guys are saying. Why in the hell are you picking Georgia after we picked them for week 7 and they lost? Georgia is going to come out swinging. They definitely have something to prove now. And I'm looking for them just to destroy Kentucky. So we're going to take Georgia. You don't have to take Georgia. I'm taking Georgia mine. You do not have to take Georgia if you don't want to. But I'm taking Georgia. And then I'm going to take Oklahoma. So the bullies are, once again, Ohio State, Clemson, LSU, Wisconsin, Texas, Alabama, Georgia, Oklahoma. And we are, so our first game, our first ticket we're going to take is Ohio State at Northwestern. We're going to take Ohio State minus 28 points. This game is not even going to be close. This is going to be a total runaway game. I don't even think Northwestern is not even going to be able to score even a field goal in this game. Look for Ohio State. They're going to be playing on Friday. Look for Ohio State just to throttle Northwestern. I think Northwestern only beat Ohio State one time since 1972. It might be more than that, but if I remember correctly, I think it was they only beat them one time. So, and I took the over. The over was 50 points. So I took the over on that. And hold on one second, guys. This room is haunted, and all my chips are starting to fly off the craps table. I'm sorry about that. All right, so I took the over, which is 50 points. Next game I took is Clemson at Louisville. Clemson is minus 28.5 points. I really like this game. I think Clemson's going to win again. I think this is going to be another game where they're just going to lay on the throttle from here on out. They have something to prove after this North Carolina game. So I expect Clemson to win this game pretty handily. I expect them to cover the minus 28.5 points. So I took them. And the next game is LSU at Mississippi State. LSU's minus 17.5 points. I would jump all over this. I would bet the farm on this one too. I would definitely take LSU minus 17.5 points. Mississippi State just does not have it this year. They're in a total rebuild. They almost lost to their first game against Louisiana Monroe, and that was come from behind. So I expect LSU just to totally dominate Mississippi State. And I also took the over. The over was 61 points. So I think with LSU averaging 54 points a game, Mississippi State might score a touchdown or two. So I expect them to cover the over on this one too. So I'm going to do a separate ticket for the over for LSU. Then I'm going to take LSU minus 17.5 points. And for the Ohio State game, I'm going to do a separate ticket and take the over on that one also. All right, my next game, you guys do not have to take this game. It's totally up to you. The next game I took is Kentucky at Georgia. And I took Georgia minus 24.5 points. I think Georgia's got something to prove in this game. I expect them just to railroad Kentucky. Poor Kentucky. You know, they have to deal with the effects of a really mad and upset Georgia team. And it's going to get really heated now that you got Georgia and Florida that both lost last weekend. So they're tied in the SEC East. So this game looming come the first weekend of November in Jacksonville between Georgia and Florida is going to be really interesting to watch. We're going to go over that game when that game comes in. All right, and then my dark horse team is Tulane at Memphis. I'm going to take Tulane plus 4 points. Tulane is doing exceptionally well this year. They're very, very gifted in a team. that's flying underneath the radar. A lot of people are not paying attention to Tulane. Tulane is doing a really good job. This is going to be the first real test. They did play Auburn. They held Auburn to a pretty close game. I think they even covered in that game too. But I'm going to take Tulane +4 as my dark horse team. And I had some people ask me about the Michigan game. Some people wrote in my emails and was asking me, what do I think about the whiteout game? Michigan's going up to Penn State. And I really like Penn State in this game. It's going to be it's going to be a physical game, but Penn State does better on offense and defense. The only thing that that Penn State does not do well on offense when you're comparing the stats is that the passing percentage plays is won by Michigan, and the defense is all over Penn State. And this is going to be a whiteout game at 7 o'clock at night. And Penn State is -9, so Michigan is +9. With Michigan's offense stuck in second gear, and Shea Patterson really can't get out of his own way pretty much sometimes, and that great defense that Penn State's going to be it's going to be jacked up for this game. If it was me betting on this game, I would take Penn State -9 points. I think Penn State's going to cover that with their great defense. I think this game, I expect Penn State to probably score around 30 points, and I expect Michigan probably score around anywhere from 17 to 20 points in this game. So I like Penn State to cover this. It's going to be a tight game with that coverage. That's the reason why I'm not going to bet on it, because I try to go after the easier teams to bet on, because we do not need to stress over the hard games and trying to make this difficult. We're here to collect easy money. We're not here to solve trigonometry and calculus and everything else. So, all right, let's recap. So like we always talk about, we're going to do the bullies, which is Ohio State, Clemson. Put this in view for you guys. Our bullies are Ohio State, Clemson, LSU, Wisconsin, Texas, Alabama, Georgia, and Oklahoma. Okay? That's going to be one ticket. And then, like I was mentioning to you before, in week 6, hard to believe, this is my 3rd week doing college picks with you guys, and we've had a good record. I think we've only lost, in the last 2 weeks, we've only lost 3 games out of 12 or 15 games. We've only lost 3. So that's a pretty good win percentage. And so we have eight bullies. So you're going to take one of these teams. You're going to do a separate ticket. You're going to do one ticket, one parlay ticket for your bullies, and then you're going to do another ticket with the bullies, and then you're going to add either Ohio State, Clemson, LSU, Georgia, whatever team you want to add. It could be any team. There's plenty of teams to check out. You guys can add one to here, so that we have two parlays, and it's going to pay out a little bit more money, like we talked about, And so the way I'm going to parlay my tickets is I'm going to do individual tickets for each of the 4 teams, like I mentioned, and then I'm going to do one over for Ohio State and one over for LSU, and a separate ticket for the dark horse team, and then I'm going to parlay Ohio State and Clemson, and I'm going to parlay LSU and Kentucky, my SEC parlay, and then I'm going to do a round robin for Ohio, Clemson, LSU, Kentucky, and the Tulane matchup. So that's how I'm going to bet this week. You guys can bet on any amount you want to. Last week, it paid out pretty good. I think what I'm going to start doing for all these events that I'm going to do, because I usually win my money on the craps tables before I bet. So what I might start doing is at the end of the year, I'm going to collect this money, and then I'm going to find a pretty good donation to donate half my winnings to a great organization come the end of December, so somebody can have a great Christmas present, one of the charities here locally or nationally. It just depends. That's one thing I want to do. But anyway, getting sidetracked. That's who I like this week. You guys can go with whoever you like. And I really do enjoy the college football picks with you guys. Hopefully we have a better week and this week than we did last week, but we still did overall pretty well. And stay tuned for Thursday night, guys. I'm going to show you the new strategy for part 3, and it's called the Wall of Money strategy. It is a $10 table. It is crazy bananas on how much money you're going to make on this. After hitting 3 individual numbers, say you hit like the 5, 6, and 8, you will make a ton of money. We did one roll, and for example, we started out with $400. We were all the way down to $110 left in our chip rack. We came roaring right back on one session, went from $110 to almost $550 in one throwing session. I think it was 6, 7 rolls of the dice. We went from 110 to 550. It was somewhere around there. It was in the 500s. So I'm going to show you guys that strategy. You guys are going to make a lot of money doing this strategy. Pretty much after your third throw at different numbers. So you hit a 5, 6, 8, or 4, 5, 9, 10, whatever. You hit 3 different numbers, you're going to start printing money. I mean, the casinos are just going to have a printing machine where it's just going to keep on handing you out 50s and 100s pretty much. That's how much money you're going to be making with this cool strategy. But guys, I hope you guys have a lot of good luck on your picks for week 8. Those are my picks. And I look forward to Thursday night when I can share this final series, part 3 of the Random Roller. And I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. And keep on sending me those emails, guys. I enjoy all the football picks and all the interesting comments you guys email me about my football picks. It's kind of colorful, some of the interesting hate mail I get sometimes from you guys. But keep on sending it. I laugh. I enjoy it. I like to hear your opinions. I learn stuff from you guys. Even some of it is a little crazy. But anyway, have a good night. Take care, and I'll talk to you guys on Thursday.